Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. The motorhome incident. Adrian and Joanne Fenton had barely settled back into the comfort of their home in Heartwarming when their world was turned upside down. Their long journey back from France had been uneventful, just another road trip in their beloved motorhome. But as Joanne unpacked their bags, Adrian's voice cut through the air, sharp with alarm. "Joe, there's a migrant on the back. Phone the police." Her heart pounded as she rushed outside. The back of the motorhome, where their bike rack was covered with a thick, waterproof casing, was shifting. Joanne's breath caught in her throat as she saw a figure stir beneath the cover. A young man, disheveled and exhausted, unzipped the cover and emerged, blinking in the daylight. His clothes were dusty, his face streaked with sweat. Joanne's instincts kicked in. Despite the shock, she rushed inside, grabbed a bottle of water and an apple, and handed them to him. The police arrived quickly. Officers surrounded the vehicle, questioning Adrian and Joanne as they stood in the driveway, still reeling from the discovery. The migrant, appearing weak but unharmed, was taken into custody. Joanne and Adrian had done everything by the book. They had driven through the Calais border, subjected their motorhome to standard checks, and returned home without the faintest suspicion that someone had hitched a desperate ride across the channel. So, when an official envelope arrived from the Home Office days later, they assumed it was a routine follow-up. Instead, they were slapped with a £1,500 fine for failing to check that a clandestine entrant wasn't concealed in their vehicle. Joanne stared at the letter in disbelief. "How is this our fault?" she whispered. The outrage spread quickly. Friends, neighbors, and eventually the entire nation caught wind of their story. Soon, they found themselves sitting on the Good Morning Britain couch, facing Ed Balls and Susanna Reid. As the interview aired, viewers across the country exploded with fury. "This is outrageous. The couple are victims, not criminals. How can the Home Office fine innocent people while failing to secure the borders? If they're fining these folks for unknowingly carrying a stowaway, should the government be fined for letting in thousands knowingly?" Ed Balls, ever the inquisitive interviewer, leaned forward. "Adrian, did you have any suspicion at all that someone could have climbed onto your motorhome?" Adrian shook his head. "Not in the slightest. The border agents didn't check the bike rack. We went through all the normal procedures. How were we supposed to know?" Susanna Reid turned to Joanne. "You even gave him water and food. You acted with kindness, and now you're being punished." Joanne nodded, frustration evident in her voice. "We did what any decent human being would do. And now we're out £1,500 for something that wasn't our fault." The injustice hit a nerve with viewers, and social media erupted. A political storm was brewing. The debate raged on talk shows and in Parliament. Calls for an appeal process mounted. Legal experts weighed in, calling the fine absurd and legally questionable. Some MPs even proposed a review of the policy, arguing that innocent citizens shouldn't be held accountable for security failures at the border. Adrian and Joanne, once an ordinary couple enjoying their retirement travels, had suddenly become the face of a national controversy. As they left the GMB studios, Joanne sighed, exhaustion evident in her eyes. "Do you think they'll drop the fine?" she asked Adrian. He exhaled slowly. "If enough people speak up, maybe." For now, they could only wait, but one thing was certain. The British public wasn't going to let this one slide.